Welcome. Artist to artist. Today we got LJ the Angel here, um, artist, and I mean, listening to that song, I feel like you're an activist. So
Yeah, like just a lot of people have been asking me to make songs about Black History Month, so I was like, you know what? Let me make one song where it just like encompasses everything and like shows my pride in being black. And
yeah.
I've done it before, like when I was making worldly music, but this is the first time I've like incorporated God into it. So
Okay. Well, what's been the difference? I'm just smooth that up a little bit. What's been the difference with um everything? Far as I know, we had a little bit of a talk, and
Mhm.
you're like, man, it's just at first I ain't wanna
Right.
talk about it. Talk about it a
Yeah.
little
So,
bit.
like you said, like when I first like made my way to Jesus, it
Mm-hmm.
was through some friends of mine, and I had gone to a church like when I was younger and grew up in it, but um, it wasn't until 2020, the beginning of 2024, or like
Mm-hmm.
the end of 2023, like around November, where I really started like taking the journey seriously to God. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I want to say like around April is where I like got baptized, and when the day I got baptized, I was like, man, God, I really don't want to make Christian music. Like,
Yeah.
can I just keep making my music over here and
Yeah.
celebrating you over here? And then it was
Yeah.
like, I just started feeling conviction whenever I would like go to shows and perform my old stuff. I would be like,
Yeah.
this don't even feel right. Like, I would be preparing to go to a show and I'd be like, yeah, I don't even want to like perform these songs anymore because this isn't what I'm about. So yeah, and then I just started like going into it and
Changing it up.
exactly like experimenting, and that was like a long period. That's why it took me from, I want to say, like January all the way until I released my first song in like August, because I had to change up everything. I had to one change the material. I had to get comfortable speaking about God, because that's one thing people don't tell you about. It's like when you come to God, it's difficult to like go from, all right, um in the world, and then now I'm all about God. Like it's hard to make that transition like verbally. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to make it like inside or like
When nobody looking, when you gonna
exactly.
yeah
But then when you get outside, you got to really like, all right,
live it.
inform everybody. All right, I'm different now. Like I'm not the same person as before. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, so how is that rebranding? Like it sounds like it's a little bit tough, but like
Mhm.
what when it came down to it, did you ultimately just feel like the same person but
Mm.
a different person that's
Mm.
just speaking a different message now? It's like
Yeah, like it more feels like um I'm a evolved version of myself.
mm-hmm.
Like what I'm seeing now is one, there's like a stronger support system with making Christian music. Like I didn't expect that when I was coming into it. Like I thought, all right, it's time to just be alone in the world, like
Yeah.
just like solitude and all by myself. But what I started to learn is people who are in the church, especially at my church. I don't know how if it's like this at all churches, but they're willing to like do things and put you in positions to showcase your talent, like more so than people in the world. Like, and I feel like now I'm
Mm-hmm.
more like,
Confident.
yeah,
Yeah.
confident. Like I'm working harder than I've ever worked.
Yeah.
Like I'm just doing things more, um, like with more vigor and more like veal. Like just keeping myself busy, like always staying on top of it. Whereas when I was making music for the world, it was like, I'll make a song here and there and like I'll go back to life. But now I'm like, all right, if I'm not making music, I'm making art. If I'm not making art, I'm writing some scripts. Like if I'm not writing scripts, I'm doing this, and this. So I'm more focused, like a lot more focused with God.
Mm-hmm.
So
Talk about that too. Diving into a little bit of that, like
mhm.
art. What kind of art you make?
Yeah, so I started teaching myself how to sketch in January 2023. So it's been like a 2 year journey of just me cranking out stuff. Lately, it's just been like not as consistent as before, but
Mm-hmm.
2023, 2024, I was literally drawing every single day, trying to learn something new. And one
Mm-hmm.
thing that came of it was I joined this thing called the Princeton Sketchbook Club,
Okay.
which is in Princeton, and basically it's they give you a sketchbook, you fill it out, and you bring it there, and then they have like an exhibit for it, for
That's
however
dope.
long. So I went there. I want to say in June or July. It was during the summer, and I dropped off my stuff, and they had the exhibit, and it's still there. So if people wanted to go check it out or see it, like it's
That's
still there.
cool.
So it's super dope. Like, and it was something that I one hadn't done before. Like,
Yeah.
just put myself out there with art, and then two, it helped me with pacing myself and time management because they have a deadline. Art, you have to bring this in by this date, and for the first time in my life, I feel like I didn't wait till the last minute to try and finish everything up. Like I was actually pacing myself and actually staying consistent with it. So that by the time I was finished, I didn't have to like, oh, let me. It was just like, yo, I'm done. Like I could just chill and bring this back in. So it was good to like show myself that I could be consistent and show myself that even if I'm not good at something, I can stick with it and get better. And I had a few friends come out to the opening show or whatever,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Yo, this is really good. Like, you should make like a comic book, or you should make like a some sort of like thing with it." So I was like,
Yeah.
"Yo, that's super dope." Like,
Yeah, just to see like the fruits of your labor.
Exactly.
You probably was working hard.
yeah, every day just figure drawing, like drawing shapes, shading, like
Yeah.
doing a whole bunch of different stuff and learning, like watching videos, absorbing so much different content about like art, like reading books, like it was a lot. And I still do something like that now. Like every Friday, I host a drawing group.
Okay. That's
Around,
dope,
like-
yo. These groups is
Yeah.
dope, yo.
I'm trying to like get things together. So every Friday I host a drawing group. And usually it's just me and like either one or two other friends, but it's open to everybody. I have like a separate page on Instagram for it. So if anybody wants to come out, you can. Actually, today we're going to the Newark Museum as like a field trip kind of. So,
That's dope. That's
just
dope.
to get outside of just creating and like actually seeing what other people create
And
and
some
getting
other
inspired
art.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's dope. See, I ain't even know you was. That's why I'm glad, like, just like being on the show and stuff, I'll be finding out a lot about people. Like,
Yeah.
oh, really? That's cool. How
Yeah.
is that translated over to music too? Because it's like now you've like seen yourself like this super duper like studying, getting into it. I know even before
Yeah.
now you're like, man, I was into some music.
Yeah.
I know before I got here.
Yeah, like honestly, that's the reason I started drawing, was to build that muscle of consistency and build that muscle of like, all right, knock things out. Like even if it's
Yeah.
not exactly how I want it, or if it's not good, like that's the whole reason I started drawing, was just, all right, I'm not good at it right now, but let me see where I could be in a year. Let me see where I could be in 2 years. Like let me see how far I could take it. So, that was the main reason I started drawing, and then it led to a love of drawing and like a love of like actually visually getting my stuff out there instead of like auditorily or vocally. So that also translated to my music, where it's like now I'm not so worried about this doesn't sound exactly how I want it to
Yeah.
sound. I'm just like, all right,
Progress.
I'm getting it as good as I can get it right now, and learn from this what you can do next time.
Yep.
So I feel like every time I've dropped a song or dropped a project, it's just been getting better, and the quality's been getting better, and I'm learning different tricks and skills about like how to use my voice, how to do ad libs, how to do this, and this. So it's contributing very, very heavily.
Did you feel like you had to change anything about your style, like transferring since over from, I guess, secular music to gospel music? Did you feel like there were things that you had to change sonically as well?
Not so much. I felt like the way I sounded in the music is how I wanted to sound, whereas I just had to change the content. Like I felt like I liked how I sounded. I liked the vibe that I gave off with my music, and that's one thing I feel like a lot of people misinterpret about Christian music, is that they think, oh, if I'm making Christian rap, I have to sound like this, or I have to do this to make it. But like, you can sound the way you sounded before, but just give it to God, like glorify God with it. So I've been seeing a lot of people, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram, like making Christian music that sounds like secular music, and people are drawn to it. Like that's my main goal with it now, is like, bring young people to God with the music. And like, if that is, you know, making music that sounds like secular music but isn't secular music, it's like that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to bring people to him no matter how we do it. So I think that's the most important. So I didn't feel like I had to change anything sonically. If anything, I just been adding on to my sound, like you know, different styles, different techniques, and
trying different things
exactly,
and just branching out.
exactly.
And you was talking about writing scripts too. You write scripts?
Yeah. So I started, I want to say, 2 years ago. I went to UCC to take a few classes, and one of the classes that I took was intro to script writing. So I took that. I enjoyed it, and you know, I wanted to do more with it. So I went back to Kane. I graduated this May, which is something that I didn't think I would ever do. Thank you. Yeah, like I stopped going in 2019, and then I
Was that COVID related?
no,
Okay.
it wasn't related. I wish it was related to COVID that I could have an excuse, but
That's funny.
the reason I stopped going was because I just didn't want to be in school anymore. It was just something that felt bad. Like it, like there were times where I wanted to take my own life. Like it was really a tough time for me in school. So, and I had conversations with my parents. I had conversations with mentors, like a bunch of different people. And at a certain point, I was like, nah, I can't do it. It was at a time where I really, really wanted to focus on music. Like I felt like I was wasting time in school. I felt like a lot of my time that I could have been spent making music, I was in classes, like, and the good thing about me going back to school last year and, you know, finishing up is I did it because I wanted to, and I felt like I had the capacity to finish. Whereas in 2019, I was like forcing myself to be there, and it didn't feel right. So yeah, I graduated this May, and I took another class about screenwriting. So I've been doing that for a while. I have a few ideas that I want to flesh out. Like I have a TV show idea, and I have like 2 film ideas. I'm working on one right now. I'm like 20 pages in. So
That's
yeah,
dope.
I'm
That's
just
dope.
like
That's dope.
trying to stay consistent with that too.
Yeah.
So I'm juggling a lot of stuff, but I like to say like my ADHD is what's keeping me afloat, because when I can't do one thing, I'm doing another thing, and like staying busy. I feel like it's giving me extra energy when I like transition from one thing to another, so I'm not wasting time, you know, just sitting around not doing anything.
Does that help on the mental health tip too? Like when it's like, okay, I know exactly my purpose now. Like I know exactly what I want to do and I'm doing it. Like does it, like that help? Because I know you said you kind of like had this thing with school, and it was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. Like how much was that affecting you versus like now where you're like clear minded, like, oh, I know exactly what I want to do. Like I'm drawing, I'm making music. You know what I'm saying? Like how?
It's good because it gives me things to focus on. Like if I didn't have things to focus on, I don't know what I'd be doing. Like just sitting around not doing anything. But now that I have multiple different avenues of things that I could be doing, it's like, all right, if I'm not doing this, I'm doing this, and it's also something that I enjoy. So, you know, just staying busy, keeping myself consistently working on something that's positive and progressive. You know, I could be spending time playing video games. I could be spending time doing this, and this that wouldn't really benefit me in the future. But now that I have these constructive avenues of creation, like I can make music and then I can transition to writing, or I can write and then transition to drawing, or I could transition to doing a bunch of different stuff. So yeah, it's just been like a growth and an expansion of what I think my talents and skills are. So it's really helped me focus a lot. And also, I also want to give credit to God, because if it wasn't for me finding God, I think I would still have some of those issues, like with depression or issues with being downtrodden. And before I turned to God, like especially in November 2023, I was feeling that pressure on me. Like I was feeling like, man, I'm making this music, but it's not doing anything. Like I'm putting out this stuff, and it's like, what am I doing here? You know what I'm saying? And then
yeah, no, like so even with like doing that, like when you like stepped away from school, did you go harder at the music at that time, or did it still feel like it was like a spirit of delay on it? Like it was still.
I was going harder when I wasn't going to school as much, but it wasn't. There were still times where I was like, all right, I'm gonna slack off, or I'm gonna like chill, or at the time I had a girlfriend, like spend time with her. Like I was putting a lot of time into things that weren't necessarily constructive. Whereas now I'm like laser focused, like just keeping myself completely structured and completely consistent, or at least I tried to. There's times where lapses and slip ups and stuff like that, but right now I feel like I'm the most productive that I've ever been, and it's really a blessing from God. Like just Him giving me one, the mindset, two, the ability to do it, and the favor that people see something in me, see like promise or see potential, and it's like that's beautiful. Because before I was speaking about this with somebody, like I would go to performances and I couldn't really invite my family because it's like, I'm rapping about this, and this, like, but now I can invite my family and they're proud of me. Like, they share my music with their friends now, and it's like my parents can actually be like, yeah, LJ, we want to come to your next performance, and I'm not sitting there like, nah. Like I'm like, all right, yeah, you can come. Like, bring your friends, bring people. Like
it's not cringy
exactly.
to talk to them about it.
It's not like, I feel like they can be proud of it, like something that they can actually showcase and send to their friends and send to people that they know, like send to my family. You know what I'm saying? Like the other day, my uncle, who's been Christian for most of my life, like he sent me some messages about my music that I released.
That's
he was
dope.
like happy about me releasing it and like telling me that I was gifted, and like that feels good to have your family able to listen to your stuff and they not feel like
backing you. Yeah,
exactly.
That is different. Yeah,
definitely.
No, I understand it. I was still sending it to them, but but I definitely got the cringiness because even with my dad, I'd be like, I wasn't sending none of that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting.
Definitely.
I know I've been seeing you like doing a lot of performances, and I know like you were like even like throwing your own release party, like you're just like at it, like really at it. So like that's exciting.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
we're like, what do we have to look forward to for what you're planning on doing? I know when we talk, you're talking about like, I'm just dropping. I'm dropping. Exactly. I just see you dropping. So like how's that?
Yeah. I'm trying to do at least 2 releases per month. And that's both singles and like projects. So this month I just today dropped a song called Fist in the Air, which is the one that you played at the very beginning. And I'm working on the second one. But every month I'm trying to drop something whether it's for a performance that I'm having or if it's just like from myself. So I have 2 performances this month, or technically 3. So I'm performing at my church on the 23rd, which is Sunday. I'm also performing at in Flemington at the NAACP event for Hunterdon County.
Okay.
Which is at Stengel Factory in, I think, Flemington. I'm pretty sure. And then on the 28th, I'm performing at Linden High School for their... I'm forgetting the name of the group, but one of the youth from my church, she goes to Linden High School, and her group is having a Black History Month event on the 28th. So I'm doing that too. And I was supposed to have an event at the Rosa Public Library on the 22nd, but that got canceled. Some things didn't fall through. So
okay,
yeah,
you on tour right now.
I'm trying. I'm trying
you on tour right now.
Just keep my name out there, and like I said, when I got into releasing music and showcasing it at my church, I feel like a lot of people were willing to give me opportunities to perform at different places, and it's just been a blessing. Like, honestly, I don't know how I've been getting these opportunities. Like, they just been coming to me, and it's just the grace and favor of God, like just laying his hands on me and like, all right, this is what I want you to do, like be in these spaces, like and it's a lot more consistent than it was when I was making music for the world. So he's like, yo, I told you if you came over here, I would give you stuff that you wouldn't expect. Like I'm gonna bless you more than you've ever expected. So it's
Yep.
like I'm just seeing it. No, but I will say there are times where like I do get discouraged, and I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Like, is it coming fast enough? And like I get impatient. I'm like, all right, like, can it happen faster? But
Yeah.
like, you know, time works differently for guys. So what
Yeah.
seems like fast to him is like forever for me. So yeah, but like I said, I'm just grateful and thankful that I do have the opportunities that I've been given. So yeah, I'm very excited for these next few months.
That's good. So what's been like the biggest challenge that you would give somebody else that's like transitioning into just music or just doing it, dropping
Just music in
project.
general.
Because like you talked about a couple of roads there. You talked about feeling like giving up. You talked about you're in school feeling like, all right, this ain't what I want to be doing. Like, what's the advice to give somebody that might be going through that tough time of being like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to. I remember a time I was working and I'm like, nah, I can't be at this job no more. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like 10 years ago. But I'm like, I can't be at this job no more. Like I'm not a regular person. You go through that phase.
Exactly.
And like having the wisdom I have now, it definitely would have been to, okay, stay at this job, right? Take everything that I'm doing, take the money that I'm making, and like figure out how to, make this money. Take this money. But if I have $20 left over after a check, after paying bills, take that $20 and figure out how to make it $40. Don't do nothing else with it. Don't eat McDonald's.
Right.
Don't, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like don't buy it on a bottle. Like back then it's like you're just spending on things that don't really do anything for you.
Exactly.
So just what piece of advice, because having transitioned over to gospel as well, or even just the mindset it gives you of being like, okay, no, like I need to align with what I'm working towards.
Yeah.
And then you got people, sometimes people will be like, oh, like you're working so hard, like you need to have fun. And it's like, yo, when I was having fun, you weren't checking me on that fun. I wasn't working hard, So just like a piece of advice that like you would tell your younger self if you could look back, like,
stay consistent and release. Like don't, because I have so many things that like I look back and I'm like, if I was in the world, I would put this out. Like like
just hoarding it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yes, I was working back then, but I wasn't putting it out to the world. And I feel like if I was putting it out to the world, it would have gotten me a lot more exposure. So if I was to talk to younger LJ, one, get into Christian music. Like, do not continue to make this because this is just gonna lead you down an empty path or whatever. Like, just get in tune with God. Like, actually focus on it. But that's me specifically. When it comes to people getting into music, just in general, definitely consistency, because that's what a lot of people have nowadays. Like, a lot of people don't have musical talent. Like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of stuff that I hear nowadays is not so much good quality music. It's just that people are consistently dropping.
Yeah.
And, you build fans regardless of how good your music sounds.
They know the pattern.
Quality. Exactly. So there's always going to be an audience if you put stuff out. If you hoard onto it, you'll never know who is going to like blah, 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 or like your song. So definitely stay consistent and to release. So that's would be my advice for people getting into music.
No, definitely. Yeah. How many you released? I've heard 2 projects. Did you release more than that?
So I released since I've made Christian music. I've released, I want to say, 4 singles. 2 in January, 1 in December of last year, and then this one this month. I released 2 4-song EPs. One of them is called "In the World Not of It," and the second one is "Graduation." "In the World Not of It" is only on Bandcamp because of copyright stuff. So the premise of the mixtape is I'm taking worldly instrumentals and putting godly lyrics on them. So when I tried to put it out on the
Yeah, you
streaming service,
can't.
yeah, they was like,
You
nah.
can't do that. Stop it.
So yeah,
Mhm.
that's out only on Bandcamp. But other than that, yeah, I have the one project and the 4 singles. So
That's dope. That's dope. That's
yeah,
dope.
been working a
Consistency.
lot.
Yeah.
And like I said, I released something today, and I'm hoping to release something later on this month too. So,
Yeah.
and then also I have stuff ready for March. So just
Already lined up.
mm-hmm.
What's your process like with doing that? Like what's like how do you schedule your stuff out, plan it? Like how do you do that?
So far it's just been people have hit me up for an event or like a theme that they want me to rap about.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been taking it and like, all right, I'll make a song for your event, like specifically for your event, and I'll release it like either a day, like a day close to the event or sometime before the event. So this song that I released today is actually for the Black History Month events that I'm gonna be doing. Like that was my specific intention, like make a Black History song for these events so that I have something to present. Like the one that I released in December was a Christmas song because the minister of music at my church was like, "Can you make a Christian rap song?" The first one in January was like a song for bringing youth to the church, and also my dad was like, you should make a song about the verse, "Train up a child in the way they should go, and when they grow, they won't depart from it." So I made that song, specifically for that. And then
this is your dad saying?
Yeah, my dad was like, make the song because he was
dope.
like, that reminds me of your journey. Like, we brought you to church when you were younger, and you didn't necessarily like it when you were younger, but it always stuck with you, and you came back to it now. So you should make a song about that. And I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. So I made that song, and then the second song that I released in January was for MLK Day. So, I just been taking ideas that people have been giving me. And then, I also work on stuff on my own, making instrumentals and,
yeah, because you produce a lot of the stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah, so making instrumentals, using samples and stuff like that. So, yeah, just continuing. Like later on this month, it'll be one of the songs that I've been working on for my own self. Like, not something that somebody, prompted me to do. So, just staying on top of it like that. And whenever I do get a new opportunity, releasing that, but then also working on my own stuff in my own time.
Yeah.
So.
I guess one of the questions I just got from that I had wanted to ask, when you were, I guess, doing your more so secular music, and you said like, younger, you didn't like going to church. Did you stop going to church?
Yeah, for a while I did.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I definitely stopped going to church, and it was just because it wasn't what I
wasn't hitting for nothing.
Yeah. And it wasn't until June of last year that I started going back. So
what prompted you? You say your friends? It was kind of like an invite thing.
Yes and no. Like in April, a friend of mine invited me to her church. I went there like twice. And then that was when I got baptized. And then I took another month off, and I was like thinking to myself, I need to go back to church. So I started fasting in June. This was like my first, fast by myself. And during that fast, I was like, you know what? Let me actually go back to the church. And I was debating whether to go to one church or another, but I was like, let me just go back to the church that, brought me up. I know people there. I am in tune with everybody in this space. So I was like, yeah, let me go back. And I ended up rejoining the church on Father's Day. So my dad was there. He came up. He was like, yo, like it was this whole big thing. So yeah, it was extremely exciting. And, I had an amazing time, like, getting back into church. And then it wasn't until I want to say August that I like went up to my minister of music, like, yeah, I make Christian music. Can I perform here? And he was like, yeah, sure. And since then, it's just been upward trajectory.
That's what's up, yo.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Definitely.
Any big takeaways that you would say like from this journey has really been something that impacted you on a different level that you would say? Because you talked about like, I guess you mentioned this slightly. You said yeah, like you were to the point you're like, I'm ready to just take my own life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And you said God kind of pulled you out of all of that.
Mm.
So just like how big is that? Like, cause
Mm.
people don't talk about it a lot of
Yeah.
times, and it's like, you know, the world is pushing medication on you and all of that stuff, and just that transforming of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just something that's able to just take that, you know, and you have
Yeah.
a peace that you're like, I don't even know how I am
Right.
this peaceful, but I'm this peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
Just for anybody out there, like, if you want to give them any words right now, because I just felt
Yeah.
like it was a moment just to give somebody some words.
Yeah, when I came to God, it was at like I said, a very um, tumultuous time. I guess
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of turmoil in my life, and I started to notice things that God was putting into my place, like things that were just aligning perfectly, like
Mm-hmm.
impossible situations that were just coming together for my good. And I was like, yo, it has to be God. Like,
Mm-hmm.
one thing that my pastor always says is coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous.
Mm.
So when things just come together, it's not necessarily coincidence. It's God, like, all right, I'm going to put these things in your place and it's going to line up perfectly. You don't know how it's going to line up perfectly, but it's going to do that. And, you know, as I started getting more in tune with God and I started praying more and just thanking Him for the small things, the little things, like my mind started to uncloud and I started to see things a lot clearer and I started to be a lot more uplifted because I was like, God is on my side. God is watching out for me. Like, and there's
Different confidence.
exactly. Yeah. It's like now I don't have to worry about this, that, and the third because I know God is going to take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just putting a lot of faith and a lot of like trust in God because if you don't put your faith and trust in God, it's useless.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're just, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but it just felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just give it all to God, and whatever happens, happens. Like, and I know it's gonna be for my good, so I'm like, all right, whatever happens, happens. Get ahead, God, work with it, like, and you know, just asking God, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Is this what you want from me? And you know, just listening to the signs and people coming up to me like, yo, keep going, keep doing it, like, don't stop. And I'm like, all right, that's God telling them to tell me don't stop. So, you know, that just
got you going.
Yeah, opened up my mind and like really cleared out every negative feeling that I had. So yeah, I haven't thought about that in a long time. Like I haven't thought about like killing myself or anything like that in forever. So it just feels reassuring and really like a safety blanket, like a safety net or whatever. So
yeah,
that's
that's what's
really
up, man.
really dope.
So we can expect, I guess we getting about 5-6 more projects from you this year.
Oh, more than 5 or 6. Like I'm like I said, trying to drop something at least twice a month. So
For a whole project too.
Whole projects, probably I have one in the works right now.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely gonna be like ramping it up soon. Like,
Okay.
Really putting stuff together. So
You outside this summer. Okay.
absolutely outside this summer. Like just like I said, staying consistent because
yeah.
that's one thing that I've learned from reading the Bible and like the parable of the talents. Like God gives out the talents, and if you receive the talent, bury it, and bring it back to Him, the same as how you got it, He'll call you wicked. So you know you gotta take it, invest it, and let it double, triple, you know, multiply tenfold. Said when you bring it back to God, He's like, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And like you know, that's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
That's the last like the main thing you want to hear is "well done." Like
God loves multiplication.
exactly. So that's what I'm trying to do is just continue working at it and not letting it stay dormant. Yeah.
Hey man, thank you for coming on.
Of course.
Please, LJ, let them know where they can find your stuff, your website, like everything. Like let them know.
Yeah, definitely. So my website is ljtheangel.com. I just well, not just, but last month I finished editing and all that stuff. Up there will be all my shows. all of my music, a bunch of photos, a bunch of interviews that I've done. This will be up there when it gets released. So
that's dope.
Yeah, that's the website. You can find me on all streaming platforms at LJ the Angel. What else? Oh, my Instagram is LJ_the_angel. If you want to follow me there. I also have a Facebook page and no, that's about it. Yeah, Facebook page and just keep an eye out for things that I drop in the future. And I hope you enjoy it.
Hey, LJ the Angel, known as Wendell here. Y'all have a blessed day, all right?